Welcome to the Talking Sport Report podcast with Scotty and Eggo. Unbelievable!
Welcome to episode 54 of the Talking Sport Report. This is a very special podcast. I mean, not that the rest of them aren't special. It's not like we're rating our grandkids or our children here, but we kind of are a little bit. My co-host, as always, the legendary Scott Scooters-Hughes. How are you, legend?
Oh, thanks for having me. As always, what a...
Technically your podcast too.
Well, you know, that's true. Although you do most of the work. But yeah, it's look, it's nice to be here. Sneaks up on you. Feels like just yesterday we were doing this.
Yeah, it does. Well, this is a big one because we are going to be covering, we've been wanting to do this for a long time, the biggest Aussie sporting moments of the past basically 26 years, since 2000. And when you think about the last 26 years and you think about the year 2000, your mind automatically goes to the Sydney Olympics, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. So I'm really surprised. I would put that in the list. Like straight off the bat, opening ceremony. No, I wouldn't either. It's pretty terrible, wasn't it? I don't remember it. I don't remember.
Nikki Webster singing.
Of course, yeah. That's right. I forgot a bit of Strawberry Kisses.
That's exactly right. Flying and a lot of I noticed back in the 2000s there was a lot of let's put them up on the harnesses and fly them across the stadium. There's a lot of that going on
because they didn't learn from Owen Hart.
Well, this is Aussie stuff too. So if you agree with it or disagree with it, we'd love to hear from you. TalkingSportReport@gmail.com. How do we do? We're ranking these from 20 to 1. Scotty, you kick us off. What is the 20th biggest Aussie sporting moment since 2000?
20 is starting with the Socceroos winning the 2015 Asian Cup.
I thought that was big. That was on home soil, right? We hosted
Absolutely. Hosted, won it. So that was I think the third time we'd actually been a part of it. Third time being a part of it. Won it, Stadium Australia. Beat South Korea 2-1. Beat them 2-1. So I thought, why not? Let's start that. Chuck it in there at 20.
I'd love to know the registrations that would have happened off the back of that tournament, being in Australia and just the spike. You know how every year they say, in January there's a big spike in people playing tennis.
Yep.
Could you imagine what that did for grassroots soccer?
Oh.
And you think about it now, 2015, so 11 years ago, could you imagine all the maybe not 11-year-olds, but like 15, 16-year-olds that were watching that as really, really young kids who went, I'm going to play soccer.
I'm going to do that. Yeah. That's good enough for them. It's good enough for me. Let's do it.
All right. Number 19 on the list. We really want to get to this top 10 because that's where the really big moments are. But there are some crackers in this. Number 19, we had 33 options to narrow this down by, but we decided just to take the overall. And maybe it was the last one. Winx, 33 consecutive racehorse wins in a row. The horse had 43 starts, so it was never undefeated for its whole life. But
that's true.
33 wins in arow is an incredible record, and you wonder if that'll ever get broken.
Especially all Group 1s. But I mean, in saying that, it was because it was such a talking point every time Winx would run. I remember working at the hospital at the time, and there was one guy that loved to punt. Every time Winx was up for the day, he'd come in and be like, right, I'll give you the tip.
Yeah.
You're gonna take the field for first in an exacta to beat Winx. Yeah, it never come through. Never come through. But my God, it was nice just to sit there and know that, well, there's no point really chucking a bet on this race because the favourite's paying $1.03 and he's gonna shit it in. Legendary horse. Recently passed. Didn't it?
Yes, yeah. And can I just say, a pretty penny was made, $26.4 million in prize money. You'd love a little cheeky 4%, wouldn't you?
That's your hourly rate on this podcast. You tell me I can't afford to get paid.
And a lot of people might cry foul and go, well, what about Black Caviar? 25 consecutive wins. But I think when Winx did the 33, that was the big thing. Winx did go overseas and do it. Black Caviar did go over and do it in England, which was pretty impressive.
Yes, true.
Injured, but I think if you say to anybody, name two racehorses, they're naming Farlap and they're naming Winx.
Yeah, definitely. definitely. All right. So next one, and do you know what? This isn't something that we cover often, and I'd love to say we need to, but we don't. Anyway, Buddy Franklin kicking his 1,000th goal. He was the first player to do this since 1996, and he done that 4 years ago, 2022. Do you remember that?
I remember because one that's coming up is another big record, but the people streaming onto the SCG.
Unbelievable.
It was just nuts. And because Buddy is quite a man mountain, he's kind of up. I remember that shot of him like raising his arms. He was an incredible AFL player, and I kind of felt like he was at his peak around Hawthorn years, came to Sydney with all these expectations and probably didn't get all the way up there, but to break the record for the Sydney Swans, that was one of those incredible moments.
Massive.
So the next one pretty much ties in nicely to this one because it's another record. Mm-hmm. It's when Alex Johnson, and this is a 2026. It's probably the only 2026 in the whole list, but it is such a unique one because Ken Irving had this basically for 450 million years. I think he picked up his 212 try-score record when the dinosaurs were roaming, and I think they actually played the Raptors.
They did. Spot on.
That's when he picked up the record. So it's good to see it's finally been broken. And Alex Johnson picked it up early this year on March the 12th. Yep. This is a unique record as well because, again, everyone streams onto the field, including our very own, potentially not the best, but Prime Minister of the country.
Red hot, hey?
What were your thoughts when that happened? Because everyone was sort of saying it's going to be against the Roosters. He's got to score twice, and he did in the first half of all things.
You couldn't believe it. Absolutely couldn't believe it. And mind you, I'm certain if you're a betting man, him to score 2 or more was in your multi without question. It was definitely in there. Dead set shortest price leg. But I mean, we've talked about this recently. The way players are going, and I mean, have a look at Milky Jenkins. I'll be surprised if that record's not broken next year.
Absolutely.
Look, not to take anything away from it, but you have disappointed me. You did say this is the only one from 2026 getting a run, so I can scrap this one about Seabold getting sacked. All right, give me a minute. Let's get rid of that. Thanks.
That is one of the 20th biggest.
That's definitely in.
We should have had that in there. But the problem is, which one do you have? Do you have him getting sacked from the Broncos, the Manly, or, you know what I mean? So,
Manly.
That's fair. What really isn't number 16?
Number 16, something that we honestly shocked me, and I don't know if we'll see it again for some time. Penrith's not single premiership, not a double, not a three-peat, but they're 4-peat. Huge.
Unheard of in this day and age.
Absolutely. Well, look at how long it took for a team to go back-to-back since Brisbane.
Yeah.
And they've just come in and gone, well, fuck you back-to-back. We'll just go back-to-back-to-back. We'll just quad it. Whatever. We don't care. We don't give a shit.
And the best thing is when you look at the teams, because of the salary cap and the way the rugby league now works, every year they had to shed off 3 or 4 or 5 players. So by the 4th premiership, there was only like 7 or 8 left standing from that first one. And even now, absolutely it does. The next year, they obviously missed out in the 5-peat, but in 2026, they're going pretty strong. So who's to say what happens off the back of this year? Do they come back and do 5 in 6? But a 4-peat, I agree with you. I don't know if we'll ever see it again, or not for a long, long time, because of the way the salary cap is. They're meant to stop this, and they defeated the system.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Absolute monumental achievement. And you got to remember, too, they were shit for a long time.
They were.
They were. You know, and I mean, at first it was, that's great. Second, it was like, oh, shit. Okay, they're going back to back. By the end of the 4th, it's like, cool. You done yet? Yeah, cheers. Oh, fuck. I've had enough talking about them. What have you got next?
Number 15. Now, I personally would love this higher because this is one of my all-time favourite moments in sport. Just because it was done to the soundtrack. I've actually got the DVD of this day.
Okay.
And the soundtrack was One Perfect Day, which makes complete and utter sense. It was the day Steve Waugh, under immense pressure in the Ashes. It looked at one point like he wasn't even going to be able to play at the SCG because they were basically going to sack him and take his captaincy and kick him out of the side for poor form of the previous year or so. And then there was also talk that maybe this will be his last ever match because of the way it's going. And it was day 2. England were being their usual self, chipping away, and it looked like they were making some inroads. Waugh goes out there and is a gutsy performance, starts hitting them to the rope. And it's quite amazing that he didn't need a 4, he needed, I think, 2, wasn't it, off the final delivery of the day? Something like that.
So, yeah.
It wasn't quite a boundary, but it was one of those ones where you knew he was going to try and do it. And I believe on the end of that day, he did finish 102 not out, hit a 4 off the final ball. And I remember Nasser Hussain, the captain at the time, going down to the bowler, having the big chat, trying to really drag it out because I knew Steve was going to try and go for the big boundary shot to bring up the 100 on the final day. Could you imagine how shattered all those who stayed around? Some people even came back to the ground off the back of hearing that Steve was potentially going to make 100 on this day if he didn't get it on that final ball.
I was there.
Oh, were you really?
I was there for days 1, 2, and 3, and I remember.
No!
I remember him scoring the 100, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Just leaving, I was what, 14? Just leaving, it was amazing. But then who was it? Was it Michael Vaughan? I think maybe the next day came out and just ripped us apart, scored his own 100, I believe. Yeah, but take nothing away, it was absolutely sensational. It was such a good knock. Kind of reminds me of mine of back in the day.
It was also record-breaking for another reason because it was his 29th Test century, which equaled Sir Donald Bradman's Australian record.
Yeah.
So at the time, that was also a very special 100. So that's why it had to make the list. Again, at number 15, but oh man, what an incredible player. Incredible player.
Absolute legend. All right, so number 14, we're going to the world of tennis.
This is our first tennis on the list, right?
It is, absolutely. And we are going the Golden Slam in 2021 by Dylan Alcott, the first male player in any form of tennis to win it.
Yep.
To win it. And just to recap, the Golden Slam is winning all 4 major titles: Australian, French, Wimbledon, US Open.
Hang on. Are you sure?
And
I thought it was done afterwards in the No, different Golden.
Yeah, different Golden.
My bad.
Different Golden.
I was about to say he should be way higher. But now knowing it's just winning the tennis.
When you're free for a drink next, I'll show you what it is.
Oh, good. Good.
We'll talk about this later. But no, he won all 4 major titles: the Australian, French, Wimbledon, US Open, and the Paralympic gold medal in a single year.
Nuts.
He completed this feat with a win at the US Open on 12th of September 2021. Sensational.
You wonder if that will ever be done because of how hard it is nowadays to win in the different conditions. That's why it's considered such an incredible thing because it's so hard to be a good clay court player and then a good hard court player because they're just so different in terms of styles. Like you could have a great T20 side but be shit at Test cricket. It's the similar kind of scenario with tennis. So it's one of those ones where it's probably a one and done, like Golden Slam, give it to Dylan, and then you won't see that ever again. I mean, you never say never, but wow, that's an incredible effort from him to get that in 21. Yeah.
Absolutely.
At 13, now this is a unique one because we've put this one in here because of the moment it created, because I think it was definitely a moment in especially women's sport because I have never seen groundswell and support like this, but it was when the Matildas, I think the moment we want to capture in this list of the top 20 biggest Aussie sporting moments since 2000 was when they won the quarterfinal match against France that they should not have won. You know, everyone was saying France are potentially going to win the whole tournament.
Yep.
You know, it was like them and England were the two that were like, oh, they're going to win. And they won in penalty shootouts. And I remember going for dinner, Scotty, and we were like, oh, damn, we're going to miss the match. And luckily, because it was such a massive event, there was this random pop-up across the park from where we're having dinner, and they had this massive screen in the park, and there was thousands. And I haven't seen that kind of, I guess, community involvement for any sport, like in my entire life, which was huge.
Don't the Aussies love a pop-up?
Like
If there's basically you could be pissing in a cup from the top of a hill for a world record, and if they could, Wheeler Place in Newcastle, it'd be a fucking sick pop up there. Jesus, like our old high school would probably show it on a TV just to cash in on that pop up. But no, it's sensational. It says here, like, where do you start with the key moments? Sam Kerr's long range goal against England in the semi. Massive
Incredible.
national viewership. They had a 7.13 million average for the semi-final, which is huge.
I don't see the Block getting that anytime lately.
Well,
I don't see Pack to the Rafters getting that.
Take your Gilmore Girls and stick it.
I don't see any of those shows getting it.
All right, moving on. We're getting close to the top 10, aren't we?
Oh, we are. And I realise it because I'm starting to chub.
Oh, I was gonna say, I've heard you're quick. I didn't know you were this quick. So number 12, Ian Thorpe's 200-meter gold in the 2004 Olympics. Now, was that at Athens?
It was, and they called this the race of the century.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
not sale of the century, the race of the
I thought you
century.
were going to say race that stops the nation. No, you gave me a bit of a...
That's a different horse. Thorpe would have a horse, but a different kind of horse.
You gave me the rundown on this before we started recording. So who was he against? He was against Phelps.
Porter. Yeah. Michael Phelps was in the race.
Who was the other one? Peter who?
This was Porter. Peter van den Hoogenband.
Peter is such a strong name, isn't it?
I know, isn't it? It's strong. It's almost as strong as his freestyle stroke. Peter, and it was Peter with a P-I-E-T-E-R.
Of course it was.
So that's why Porter.
Of course it was.
Van den Hoogenband.
Do you know what? If he was a professional soccer player, you'd be fucked if you were getting his name on your jersey, especially if they're charging per letter.
Per letter.
And it would loop around too.
Yeah.
It'd loop right around. You'd be like, well, why would you bother?
Feel sorry for the people who make the swim caps. Like, the name would have went all the way around to the side. You know what I mean? It's like, who's this Hoodenband dude? It's just because one side just says one word.
Like a chef hat.
Yeah,
just to get
exactly.
His name on the bastard.
Exactly.
It
was a massive race, though. It was a massive race to have those two. So I remember there was
200 meters.
Well, that's bigger than you couldn't be able to swim 200 meters.
Can't swim too.
Exactly. So it is a big race. It's a very big race.
For some.
But it was a unique race because of, I guess, the class. I remember being a swimming fan because of, the 2000 Olympics sort of made everyone a swimming expert for a little while there, didn't it? Like, everyone was so into the Olympics in Sydney, so we became aficionados.
Who was your favourite? Who was your favourite swimmer?
It was Hackett to a degree, but I was definitely a Kieran Perkins fan.
Yeah,
that 1500 that he had in '96, which I'm so upset couldn't make this list because it was too soon. But remember, he made the final and won in lane 8. He made the where was the 96 ones? I think that might have been somewhere. It might have even been like Atlanta. Yeah. And not to get sidetracked with another event, but I think he made the final in lane 8 and still won the fucking gold medal. What a legendary performance! So he was my man.
Spot 12, Kieran Perkins.
It's just outside. All right, number 11. Now, I don't know if we want to take our hats off for this one because it feels like.
Can I say, I've seen this list. I'm looking at the list as we speak. Have we labelled this the greatest?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, because that is a piss poor segue into this one.
I agree.
Look, rip the Band-Aid off. What do you got? What is it?
I'm going to remove my hat because it was a very dark time. Very, very dark time. Yeah. And I don't like thinking about this because there's two Steve Smith moments in this that make me upset.
Right.
It was Sandpapergate, mate. 2018. Now, the year of this recording is 2026. We are about to go back to South Africa for the first time since this moment. Sandpapergate could raise its ugly head again this year. Highly doubt it. But of course, it was in a test match in South Africa, Cape Town. Cameron Bancroft removed a piece of...
it.
That's right, yeah. Moved a piece of sandpaper.
And
And
it was yellow too. There's nothing conspicuous about it.
No.
Nothing.
It almost had a bright fucking neon above it saying, watch this.
You're right. It was the equivalent. It's the equivalent of them just pulling a press conference 7 seconds before. Go and check this shit out, boys.
Yeah. And because we don't want to have a copyright issue on this podcast, let me reenact the press conference that Steve Smith did. And I love Steve, but that was an ugly cry, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was.
But I can get it because he got a 12-month ban off the back of that. So did David Warner, and Cameron Bancroft got a lifetime ban because he's never been back.
He's never been back. He's fucking never
Poor
been
bastard.
back.
And he only got the 9-month ban technically, but
well, clearly
guess-
not. It's fucking lifelong, isn't it? You were right. You nailed that.
yeah.
That dark time is probably something we really don't want to dive into too much. Should we move on?
Yeah, please do.
Should we? Because
Please
you know
do.
what's next, don't you?
No, tell me.
Snuck up on us. Fucking snuck up on us.
Ooh.
Top 10.
Oh, the top 10,
The
baby.
top 10. All right.
All right.
Now, is there anything fancy? Do we have streamers or party
Well,
poppers?
what I can do is I'll how
Don't
about I
go
start
anyway.
playing some audio for us?
Oof.
So we've got some fantastic audio of some of these top 10 moments just to bring you as the listener
Oof.
in on this and to relive this moment with us right now.
I'm actually a little bit excited for this.
Yeah.
All right. So, number 10, none other than, and I don't know, have we touched on golf yet? We haven't. I
will be the
love
first.
it. Something new. Adam Scott wins the Masters 2013.
Remember that massive broomstick of a putty he had?
Oh, yes. Look at that putter. Get in the hole.
There it is, Adam Scott. A life changer.
What a
Wow.
moment. And that was, as I said, that was a playoff, piss poor conditions. And just, as an Aussie,
Yeah.
I think there was one that were like, he is the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I remember that was one of the lines they used in classic America.
That
Classic
is
America.
sensational. Absolutely. Well, that starts our 10.
It does.
So
and
if
it only gets better from
I was
here. 'cause
about
do you
to
know what's-
say, if things
do you know
go
what's at
according to
number
plan,
9?
this is only going to improve. It's only going to get better. What do you got?
Yep.
Hit me.
At number 9, this was absolutely one of my all-time favorites. I almost want to let the audio take you there.
Oh, do it.
Can I do that for you?
Yeah, go on.
Let me let the audio take you there.
698 tests, particularly yesterday in the heat. And things were tough. Wickets weren't
So
falling.
Monty Panesar
Oh,
has
Monty.
just
What a test match
arrived
for
at the
him.
crease.
8 wickets with the ball. England.
Doesn't he look?
And then the great man, Shane Warne, playing his
great
last
man,
ever
Warne,
test
if he
match.
can-
There we go.
Wicket of his career in front of his own crowd.
Oh,
It's all over.
And could you ask for more?
The returns
Oh,
to Australia.
there's Roy.
A magnificent moment for Ricky Ponting and his magnificent 11.
Just soak that up for a minute. What an incredible era of cricket that was. That was the retirement. Yes, it's an incredible moment at number 9 because it is the Ashes is retained after we lost it in England.
Oh,
They come
was
back and they win 5-0 here in Australia. But more importantly, it was the final test match for the greatest player of all time outside of Bradman, Shane Warne. It was also Glenn McGrath's last and Justin Langer's last.
massive. Absolutely massive. Andrew Simons was in there.
Yeah,
Now, was
Yeah.
that was a whitewash, wasn't it?
that was 5-0,
Jesus
5-0, and they
Christ.
finished it in Sydney. But I mean, and there's another one from that test series coming up later on in the list.
Oh,
As a little bit of a cheeky little tease there for anyone who's a cricket fan. You might know straight away what that could possibly be, but you weren't there on the ground that day, were you? Surely not.
I wasn't. No. I mean, I could tell you I was around the drinks. from the drinks. No, I wasn't. No, I've only ever been to one Test match, and it was that Ashes one where Steve Waugh scored his
One
ton.
perfect day.
Shut up. All right. So we're only improving, and we've just come from an Ashes whitewash. All right. So are you ready for number 8?
Yes.
Set in 2002. We're going winter.
Ooh.
We're going winter. You know where we're going. The man, our first ever winter gold medal. Steve Bradbury. Does it get any better?
Here's the bell. 1 lap for gold. He's reaching back for one more gear.
They're about to lap him.
Hold on, Lee. They bump.
Oh.
Australia across the line. 4 skaters go down.
What an absolute just and probably the one of the greatest, like, basically sporting memes of all time.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In terms of, like, the arms up, like, he's as surprised as anybody.
Yeah.
With he's winning gold. He
That's
thought
sensational.
he was, as you said, he was about to be lapped. he thought, I'm going to be the laughing stock. I've literally come last by about 20 seconds to I'm the gold medalist.
Now it's a saying. You know, like if you fluke a result, you've done a Bradbury. Like,
Yeah.
But then it's just I don't know, even 24 years later, people can still sit there and say that, by far, one of the greatest sporting moments I've seen.
Yeah,
and I
no.
love that. That is absolutely sensational. That'll never get old. My kids will know about this moment when they're old enough to appreciate it.
That's true. And maybe we, I mean, like, it feels like it should be even higher, but I guess the issue with it is, and it's probably a classic Australian thing, the fact that he was about to get flogged and he then won.
Yeah.
It makes
Never
it so
gave
much
up.
better.
And do you think, though, if this wasn't on a national stage, an international stage with footage, do you think it would have been the big fish story? Like, he would have come home and had there been no footage, but he's got the gold medal, be like, I led from start to finish. Was never in doubt, you reckon? Or do you reckon he would have been humble?
Yeah. Nah, that's probably true. He's just so lucky that there was video footage, because I think his folk legend status, no one would have believed what actually happened. But yeah, Steve, whatever. The fact that we all got to witness it just shown it was just such a unique thing to see. What was it? 5 skaters just crash into the fence.
Yeah.
And he just rolls on through.
Before we move on, one more question. How many times do you think he has watched that?
I would say that Steve Bradbury doesn't use YouPorn or Pornhub. I think he gets a bit of Vaso.
We're not allowed in this country.
No, you're not allowed anymore. That's true. Luckily for him,
apparently.
He's like, yeah.
Apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, and Steve Bradbury's like, apparently, I've never watched it. I've just watched my race back every time I need to barbecue alone.
Oh, fuck. All right, move on, please.
All right, number 7. Number 7 is another great Olympic moment. This is back in the pool. It's back at the Sydney 2000 Olympics. And the reason why it was so good is it's the relay, bro. Remember the relay, the men's relay, the 4x100, where
Was that
America was. Yes, they played the guitar at the end. Yeah. Because it was just one of those things where America had Phelps. They were just going to win. It was just going to happen. There was no chance Australia had. Australia were going to get second, and that was the way it was going to be. And then they didn't. And Australia basically, I remember Michael Klim. Didn't he? I think he opened the race, and he's got that classic stroke where he just slaps the water so hard with his arms. It's like a fucking aeroplane trying to go through water.
That's Fuck, that's one name I haven't thought of in years.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy shit. Who was in that? It was Thorpe, Klim.
It was Hackett, Thorpe. The old 12th man references there. Torpedo and Hackett. They're going stroke for stroke.
Got to come over the top of him if he's going to win this race.
And that's what he did. He came all over the top of him.
Final 50. Pool is in front. What can the champ muster?
It's got to come over.
So we're
the top
second.
Of him.
We're second at this point with 50 to go.
What a coming.
Thorpe is coming out off the hole. They're matching straight minutes now. Thorpe on terms with Hall. They've got about 15 minutes to swim. Thorpe is over Hall again. Hall and Thorpe.
Wow. The last metre.
Thorpe and Hall. Thorpe goes in.
New world record.
Australia win. New world record.
Wow. Phew, just shivered.
I know. It's like that.
Fucking hell. Did you see how quick he got out of that water?
Like Thorpe is in his own world at that point, wasn't he? Like he had a couple of body lengths, or at least a full body length to pick up, and did it easy.
How's the fucking feet on the bloke? You remember that was a big talking point for a while there?
Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
Little penis though. No, I don't think so. I was. Do you reckon?
Wow.
Do you reckon he? We're talking Sydney 2000, so we're saying that Shervington was in the same team. Who do you reckon had the bigger appendage, Shervo or Thorpe?
Shervo. Jesus.
Could you imagine
won him races?
Could you imagine Shervo in the pool and this bit is dragging behind him like a big fucking tire? Maybe Shervo was a swimmer and then went, oh mate, at least on the track I can tuck it into my pants.
Fuck. But dead set, that thing had its own postcode, I think.
It did. But I reckon
Anyway.
Thorpe wouldn't have been. I don't think Thorpe would have been short of an inch either, like, to be fair.
Shall we move on?
No. Okay.
No?
let's move
Do we
on.
want to talk
Let's
about
move-
more
no,
inches? Because
that's
there's
all right,
none.
we-
There should be
there's-
none in this one.
There's none left. No, that's true. That's true. What are
Number-
we up to? Number 6,
Number
right?
6. Number
All right.
6. Ash Barty wins the Aussie Open 2022. What an absolute legend.
Good shots. Then a backhand slice down the right, and then bang, cross-court winner. There you go.
God.
It's just, I mean, the audio doesn't know justice because we are in a podcast form, but what a moment, because we just could never win the Australian Open. I know we had a lot of chances with Big Philippoussis over the years and Leighton and Pat Rafter.
Oh, yeah.
But Ash Barty just got in there and broke that drought for us, didn't she?
And then, do you feel she retired way too soon?
Yeah, it's interesting because she was on top of the world. She was world number 1.
Yeah.
She just won the Aussie Open, and then she's like, yeah, I'm kind of done with this. I want to go be the Optus telephone communications manager or something. Wasn't she like some ambassador for Optus? I was like, oh, okay. You could be the greatest sports player in the world, but you want to go and do that. But hey, I guess it's better to go out before. Like, you look at guys like, Kyrgios, for example, went out a lot different. And even Bernard Tomic, he's currently playing this. He tried to play the Australian Open this year and couldn't even qualify, kind of thing. So I guess you'd rather go out too soon with people wanting more than go out with people saying you should pack it up.
Yeah, true. That's very true. That's very true. And I mean, she done it with a straight set, 6-3, 7-6.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the crowd, again, just went nuts.
It's one definite thing that has definitely summed up this top 20 list, I think you can say, from the start to finish, is a lot of it has to do with the fact that these are massive events that are happening in our country. And one thing about our supporter base is Australians love Australians winning.
Oh,
We don't we're not good with losing.
Nah, spot on.
And we're very passionate, but far out. Like that Sydney Olympic crowd for the relay, that Australian Open crowd for that. For Ash Barty winning was massive. Now, I'm going to we're into the top 5. This is the 5 biggest. So we're almost done. But the 5th one, I'm just going to let the audio here take control, because this was something bloody special, and it's not even a human being. Well, technically there was a human being involved, but the one that is creating this moment is damn it, he's Australian. Would you never believe? Robert Downey Jr.'s had a terrible Australian accent. That's the issue.
Wolverine.
Here we go. That's true.
All right.
Here
Sorry.
it is. It's a horse, funny enough.
Portland Singer got to the lead from Mr. Celebrity. Ipopper's running on, and then Strasbourg. Back behind those horses now as they come down the straight was Vinnie Rowe. And back behind them, here's Makybe Diva. A nation roars for a hero. She's starting to wind up. 300 left to go now. Makybe Diva's racing up. Envoy's trying to go with her. They've got to Portland Singer and Lachlan River. Here comes like a perfect end. Excellent. But Makybe Diva clear with 100 metres to go. Excellent runs to second. Ozone runs on. But a champion becomes a legend. Makybe Diva running from either Ozone.
Isn't that just so that gives me goosebumps because that was during a time where I think the Melbourne Cup in a lot of ways has probably lost its shine a little bit now. But back then, that was 2003, 2004, 2005. Makybe Diva wins 3 Melbourne Cups in a row. It's just something that just doesn't get done.
It's insane, isn't it?
You think about, I know we had Winx earlier in the list. I think about who is the greatest racehorse of all time. Number one is Phar Lap. I know we said Winx gets mentioned because probably recency bias.
Yeah.
But Makybe Diva, incredible mare. To be a mare as well, winning the Melbourne Cup 3 times in a row, it's hard enough to win that fucking race once.
Mayor of Maitland hasn't won the Melbourne Cup.
No.
Talking about mares.
Yeah, that's true.
Smashed it.
That's true.
Jesus. Who was she the mayor of?
You're a fucking idiot.
Moving on.
No, don't move on. Did you back it? Did you back Makybe Diva? Because I felt like year three, you know how you do the Melbourne Cup sweeps?
Yeah.
You'd be thinking, if I don't get Makybe Diva here, I'm fucked.
Yeah. I know. I don't want to play anymore. I want my money back. Yeah.
Pack your bags and go the fuck home.
You know what? I don't even know if I did but in saying that, was that fucking long ago? I can't even remember if I done a poo this morning. So,
well, why don't you tell us what's at number 4? That'll help.
Number four. We are back on the treadly, back on the old on the push bike. Cadel Evans wins the Tour de France 2011. Huge, massive. Now, please tell me we are listening or watching this sucker.
Month and experience incroyable. I want to say thank you to everyone who's had faith in me, in my career, in for everyone from my teammates, my friends, my colleagues, and also my competitors and everyone here for the 2011 Tour de France. I think it's just been a beautiful race, and thanks to these two brothers here, we really, I think it was a fantastic experience for everyone involved. And I couldn't be happier than to be standing up right here in the middle here.
Right near the Arc de Triomphe. The question I had was there was no thank you for Lance Armstrong in that. That's the only downside to his acceptance speech. But fuck, who would have thought we'd have an Australian win the Tour de France? We don't even know where France is half the time.
And hats off to him too, like busting out that speech in French.
Yeah, he did too. He did a previous speech. Yeah, before that one. And in very fluent French. I guess if you you are a bike rider and you are going to ride, the big race, you probably have to learn the native tongue, don't you?
Well, either that or he took year 8 French with Mrs. Irwin, like we did.
That's true. Tu t'appelles comment? Je m'appelle Matthew.
Oh, je m'appelle Nathalie.
Yeah, Nathalie. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Jesus. God damn it. That definitely doesn't make the list. All right, number 3. All right, I'm just going to play this again. This is another one of those ones where audio will speak volumes. We are back on the cricket field for one of the greatest moments of all time.
Got him! There it is! Wicket number 700! And they can't catch him! Shane Warne. Through the gate is Scott
Strauss.
Unbelievable, wasn't it? It was one of those where were you when Shane Warne picked up the 700 wicket. And that was, again, during that incredible whitewash where he was just rattling and he was in Strauss's head. And I remember seeing an interview post the test, like, in retrospect, looking back on the time, and everyone was kind of weary of being the 700th wicket because you're going to get replayed for an eternity as being the one to get 700. Like 699. Who did he get 699?
No, fuck, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, who did he get 701?
Oh, nah, got nothing.
Maybe Peterson, I don't know, but you just don't know. But Strauss, was his 700. And
big name too.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't like a Monty Panesar or Harmison or this was a decent cricketer.
Yep.
Decent cricketer. I mean, take nothing away from the other two. I mean, I'm not saying they're decent cricketers, but I know who I'd prefer to get out. It'd be someone that's got a bit of skill behind them.
Yep, and considering that Strauss used to open the partnership and open the batting as well, it was a very important wicket because if he's still there when Warney's coming on to bowl, they've been in for a bit, right? So the MCG, he's at his home crowd, and I remember that wicket because the Mark Taylor comment, they couldn't catch him because he just took off. He's running. Is that the first time ever no one's been able to catch Warney? I don't think he was over the fastest, and that was during Warney would be smashing through. Remember we had that incredible message from a listener, our good man Super Mario on TikTok, and he basically said he was a pizza delivery man, and during a lot of these test matches, including the ones in Melbourne, he would be delivering him pizzas, sometimes twice or 3 times in the one night.
Sensational, hey. Absolutely sensational.
Oh, shit.
Shit. And it you know what? It honestly shocks me that is not number 1.
Yeah. Which means there's 2 big ones still to come.
Huge. Absolutely huge. Okay. I've just double checked the list. To top that is massive. And now this one just scrapes in because we set ourselves 2000 to today. So this just scrapes in.
Yep. And to be fair, on this list, this is the 3rd time a 2000 moment has landed in the list too. So it shows you how massive those Sydney Olympics were for us as a sporting nation.
Just give it away, would you? There you go, and give it away.
What is it, mate?
It is Cathy Freeman's 400-metre gold.
Big finish with a straight Graham leads. Freeman runs up to her. Mary inside. Cathy lifting. Goes up to Graham. Takes the lead. Looks the winner. Draws away from Graham and Mary. This is a famous victory.
That's huge. There's a good gap there too.
That was again. I'm getting goosebumps every single time we replay these things. To paint the picture, if you've forgotten what it looked like, every other runner is running in a bikini top, basically the top and the bottoms. Cathy's got the full Ian Thorpe bodysuit on.
Bodysuit, yeah, it was like a wetsuit.
I know, it was such a unique. It was like felt like it was out of Super Mario or something, like a Yoshi. What was that one that the suit used to chuck on when you go in the water in Super Mario?
The frog.
Yeah,
the frog
had that vibe.
Fucking woeful on land, but sensational in water. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember the debut with that. It was so much like, what the F is she wearing?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? But obviously it didn't hinder her. If anything, it was sensational. But God, was it just me, or because obviously we have the luxury of watching that whilst you play the audio. Was it just me, or did she do that with ease?
Oh yeah, that it looked like at one point they were running backwards.
Yeah,
and she was running forwards. So she did it that easily. And I remember afterwards they interviewed her, and I think she was a bit emotional about it because I think it was just the fact that we'd had such great success in the pool during the 2000 Olympics that moment was just, well, Cathy's going to win gold, and it's this expectation that she would just do it.
Absolutely.
And you see her, she's not in the fast lane. She was in like lane 6 or something. So like she hadn't like qualified fastest. So it was this added pressure, and she blew them away. And probably you could argue. I mean, I wouldn't be against someone arguing saying that should be number 1 because it's pretty fucking good.
Oh,
it's pretty fucking good.
Massive. But I mean, in order to top that, what do you
do, Scotty?
What do you got?
You tell me. You tell me, because this is your sport. You love this sport.
Do you just want to play it? Do you just want to play
let's
it?
do that.
Go
Here
on.
it is. The number 1 moment.
John
Oh.
can score this goal. Australia will be there for a place in the World Cup. He scored! Australia have done it!
Wow. You see Schwarzer come into frame in a second.
There he is, waving his shirt around too.
He's like
That's
with
2
his
reds.
singlet.
That's
Is
2
that
reds, right?
Is that a Bonds? Is that a Bond singlet he's wearing?
Yeah, that's true. Aloisi rips off the shirt after celebration. The crowd goes crazy. He's got his chest hair out, and then you see Schwarzer come through wearing a chesty bonds with his shirt off, waving his long sleeve goalkeeper shirt.
What? Not even like a performance shirt, like skins or something.
No. That probably adds to the beauty of it. But you got to think like that was just such a unique moment because from memory, we just never got close. We'd always get just panned by some South American team trying to qualify.
Absolutely.
And that was our one and only chance to do it. Now it's become easier since then, right? Because we now go through Asia.
Yep.
We haven't got to, because those South American teams are fucking hard.
They are.
We don't want to take them on. So the fact that we changed, Oceania became a part of the Asia pathway.
Mm-hmm.
But that was back, am I right in saying that was back in the day where we were having to go through South America to get that? So that was a big fucking win.
Yeah, huge. Absolutely massive. And I think they'd done us last time out. Like they'd absolutely destroyed us.
Yeah.
Made it real tough. So, I mean, do you remember where you were that night?
I was in the crowd.
Were you?
I was there. No, I wasn't, but I would have loved to have been.
That's sensational.
I was watching it at a pub, but like you just know that that we're young kids, basically we were fresh out of high school, and fucking around doing dumb shit, but like that was one of those moments that just stuck in our head.
Absolutely insane. Hey,
like we were 19, weren't we? We were like 19, 20.
Yeah. Just before, about 19, I'd say.
Yeah.
I was at, of all places, Barrow Bowling Club
in Newcastle. Wow.
Yeah, and I remember the game obviously going to penalties. The whole club was shut. Like you couldn't buy a drink, but no one left. No one was leaving.
Fuck.
Place was packed. Like holy shit. It's honestly, and now it's almost kind of disappointing if Australia don't qualify.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable how things have changed. But I tell you what, that was quite a list.
It was. So we
huge.
recap the 5. Makybe Diva winning 3 Melbourne Cups in a row.
Yep.
Into Cadel Evans winning the Tour de France. Warnie's 700th. Cathy Freeman's 400 gold. And then John Aloisi's penalty.
Wow.
Incredible list. How do we go? You can tell us, talkingsportreport@gmail.com or slide into our DMs at talkingsportreport on Instagram, TikTok or YouTube. That wraps up the podcast for another week. We're back to our usual style of podcast next week.
Absolutely.
But, Scotty, it was great. I know these were the greatest moments of all time, but if you can pick one for your own personal favourite, what would be your favourite moment out of that? Not so much the greatest, your personal favourite.
Out of that list or in general?
No, out of that list.
Oh, out of that list. To be honest, I always drawn to and will forever love Bradbury's gold.
Yeah.
The look on his face, the almost like the shock,
Yeah.
What about you? What's yours?
I think it's still because I've come from such we both played cricket growing up. It's kind of a really tough one. I've got like a 3-way chub between Steve Waugh getting that 100 on that last day. That was probably my personal favourite, but it's hard to go past the 5-0 whitewash in the Ashes and Warnie getting his 700 within the same series.
Good call.
So like that to me is fantastic.
Yep.
It could be Penrith. No, it's not Penrith. It's 4 beats. Fuck that.
Definitely not. Fuck that.
Well, that wraps up the podcast, my friend. Have you got anyone to salute on the way out?
Oh, who wouldn't? Have an absolute ripper week. It's been a fantastic Sunday evening, mate. As always, thank you. And fuck you to Roman Reigns.
Peace, love, dove.